Hello, I'm Abiel Ballesteros. In this week's blog, I'd like to address some concerns that were raised by a new economic plan proposed recently by our current administration. President Biden's new economic plan would eliminate a tax break for many real estate owners that has enabled them to defer paying capital gains on property sales. I'm talking about the Section 1031 of the U.S. Tax Code. I have mentioned and explained several times how the 1031 exchange benefits real estate industry, specifically the multifamily industry. You can check my past blogs and my website on my YouTube channels where I describe in detail the tax benefits available to multifamily investors, specifically all the details on Section 1031 exchange. So in a few words, the current law allows investors to defer paying tax on real estate gains if they reinvest their proceeds and identify a property within 45 days of their sale. We use this strategy as part of our regular investment operations to maximize our profits for our investors and our clients and our partners. Everyone in the industry uses it. However, this proposed tax reform could change all that. Closing that tax loophole, which has existed since 1921, is part of a $1.9 trillion spending package for a new social program. The Biden proposal would abolish 1031 exchanges on real estate profits more than $500,000. Only some homeowners and smaller investors could still take advantage, according to the U.S. Congressional Tax Committee. The 1031 exchange break would save property investors more than $41 billion between 2020 and 2024. Yes, $41 billion. What the White House says is that this real estate loophole is something that disproportionately allows the very wealthy to avoid taxation. The 1031's treatment encourages and allows business to expand, to create jobs, and to pump money into an economy, and has been a benefit to millions of people in the United States for exactly 100 years. Also, it's important to note that most 1031 deals are executed by individuals, not large corporations. According to the reports, only 12% real estate sales were part of a 1031 exchange from 2016 to 2020 on a survey done by the National Association of Realtors. Not all those investors were tycoons. You guys need to understand that. It has been widely used by investors pulling money to buy small apartment buildings, motels, office building, leasing space, commercial real estate. During these difficult times like the pandemic lockdown that we just had to endure last year, and which is not over yet, these tax changes have helped generate more business and hire more workers, and is a powerful stimulus for the economy. You should know that until a few years ago, the exchange applied to other forms of personal property, such as artwork and machinery. However, those property types were eliminated by Congress by President Trump. Only real estate exchanges were preserved, and now we have to lose them too? Right now, there are tons of organizations lobbying against the government against this. So let's go over the pros and cons of this tax reform. So let's talk about the pros. 1031 allows you to sell your investment property and reinvest it into a replacement property in order to defer ordinary income, depreciation, recapture your capital gains. These types of taxes can be quite significant, especially if you allow an adjusted cost basis, which is why IRS affords you and is an invaluable exception to exchanging business or investment of property. By deferring your taxes, you will have more money currently available for your investment. This increases your purchasing power, gives you an extra leverage to acquire. Now let's talk about the cons. You only have 45 days to identify a property. Now this is difficult to meet with the IRS rules and regulation because you're rushed and pressured to buy a deal that you might overpay. Properties just to avoid your taxes. Now, I've been part of these transactions, and I've been on the seller side and on the buyer side. And you could ask any broker, any commercial real estate broker in the business, they love to hear a buyer coming out of a 1031 exchange because they know they're in a hurry. They're in a rush to buy a property. A lot of poor decisions are made off these 1031 exchange. I've seen buyers overpay because they're in such a hurry to buy a property or buy assets that they just shouldn't have been buying. So that is a big con for the 1031 exchange. It's not all glamorous like they make it out to be. Now, another thing that concerns me is this reform is going to put more pressure into the single family sector, because if it's capping out at $500,000, what are investors going to do? They're going to buy smaller assets where they know the capital gains are going to stay under $500,000. So they're going to buy more single family homes as investments. So they're going to constrain and squeeze the residential market more than it's already being squeezed. Another factor that's going to benefit not the investor, but is going to benefit lenders on this tax reform is investors that are having big capital gains before they exit. There's a good probability that they're going to refinance their equity out to get as much money out of their refinance. So who benefits? The bank again. So this reform is just squeezing the investor to find other ways to get creative to avoid paying these taxes. So who's going to benefit and who's not going to benefit? Well, the smaller investors are going to get hurt on their residential properties, and guess what? Banks are going to keep making more money because they're going to refinance to get their equity out before the exit. So regardless of the outcome, the multifamily industry enjoys many other tax benefits that will keep the business profitable for many years to come. If you're interested in these topics, or if you would like to become a multifamily investor, visit my website at abielballesteros.com to find more information, or you could just contact me or join my exclusive investors network. See you next time.